One and Only by C. Benson 1273. I hate my twin brother. There, I said it. I know you may be shocked. How can you hate someone who was literally created with you, who has been with you your entire life? Trust me, you can. I hate how he steals so much of my mother's attention. Every minute I want to spend with her, he's there, taking away her time, her attention, her affection. Every time I eat, he's there. Every time I sleep, he's there. Every time she sings to me, he's there. You have no idea how much I long for my own space, my own life, but it just isn't possible. And my father is just as bad. He spends time with me, but it's never just him and me. We always have to do everything together. There's only so much family time one can take. Don't get me wrong, my parents are good people. Hell, they are literally the reason I exist. And it isn't like they are choosing him over me. They do everything possible to show us they love us both equally. I know they're doing their best under the circumstances they weren't really prepared for. I get that space is limited and money is an issue, and I know having two of us doesn't make it any easier, though they would never complain where they thought we could hear. I don't blame them. I blame him. But what choice do I have? I can't expect them to turn their backs on him. They aren't those kind of people. They love us both too much. I know they'd do anything they could to protect us both. But that's the problem. I don't want them to protect us both. My whole life has been like this, and if I don't do something, I just know the rest of my life will be the same. Compromising, giving things up, always having to share my parents' love and affection, to share everything. I don't want to share, so I'm going to make sure I don't have to. I can feel you judging me, asking what kind of person would even contemplate this. Well, screw you. You don't live my life, and you don't know what I've been through. It's been months of this, and it shows no signs of ending anytime soon. So I'm ending it. I've thought this through, and I have a plan. It's guaranteed to work. And if I do it correctly, no one will ever suspect me. I know my parents will grieve for a while, but eventually, they'll move past it and see that the three of us are all we need, all we ever needed. So I act. A quick turn, a subtle shift, and then I wait. A few minutes, and it's all over. And then there was one. It's amazing what an umbilical cord around the neck will do. Her Demon Face by 1,000 Adonanites. Alice was a newborn baby when her mom discovered quite by accident that her reflection in the mirror was that of a demon. Alice was a fine-looking baby, but her reflection in the mirror revealed her face as a hideous, fanged, skinless monstrosity. Her mom, being a mom, naturally continued loving Alice and did everything possible to protect her. She left her husband, Alice's dad, escaping overnight with Alice to remote Canada, where she built a new life for herself and Alice. A life based on not having any mirrors anywhere. Fortunately, Alice's demon face was revealed only in actual mirrors, not in reflections in windows, which made things easier. Car rides with anybody other than mom was strictly forbidden, as was daycare and school and playdates at other people's homes, although children were invited over freely. Alice's mom became known as a harmless single mom, understood to be avoiding an abusive partner, supporting herself and her shy daughter by teaching English online. The townspeople respected her need for privacy and limited social life. Occasionally, she would glimpse over her daughter's flaming eyes and flayed face in the rearview mirror, and her commitment to protecting her grew even stronger. Alice's mom homeschooled her, and as time passed, her worst fear remained unrealized. Alice wasn't actually a demon, just had the face of one, or at least That was what the mirror showed. Otherwise, she had a perfectly normal face, and her behavior seemed normal, a stolid, somewhat unimaginative child. Even when her mom revealed her secret to her when she was around 8 for her own care and protection, Alice seemed unfazed. They adopted an outdoorsy lifestyle, camping and hiking often, in tune with the small town Alice's mom had chosen as their home. The two lived quietly enough until Alice's mom died of cancer when Alice was a young adult. Alice had made some friends through camping and hiking groups. With the death of her mom, she naturally gravitated more towards them. One day, out hiking with some girlfriends, Alice caught her ankle on a branch and fell, bashing her head against a rock on the way down. Her friends knelt by her body, calling her, and one of the girls drew out a pocket mirror and held it in front of Alice's face to check her breath. She began to scream. The girls crowded around the mirror to see, and they all screamed, horrified at the pulsing, skinless face and fangs protruding from the lipless mouth. Alice's fiery eyelids fluttered in the mirror. The screaming grew louder. Then one girl snatched up a rock and just as Alice was opening her eyes, smashed it down on her face. The other girls followed, grabbing up sticks and rocks, beating down on poor Alice's face. Soon, Alice was unrecognizable, lying in a pool of blood, her face smashed in. The girls, panting, looked at each other and their bloody weapons. The small mirror, broken and splattered with blood, lay in the ferns. I Don't Think My Best Friend Is Human. Help? By OK Swing 5556. My best friend is quite literally perfect. He has the perfect face, perfect personality, and straight A's in every subject. Girls flock to him left and right. Sometimes I found myself staring at him, wondering how somebody could have no flaws. But I won't be able to see him the same anymore. A few days ago, he invited me to hang out at his house after school. I was quite excited since we normally hang out at the library or my house, so of course I said yes. His house was within walking distance of our school, so it didn't take long for us to get there. When we arrived at his house, I was astonished. It was a beautiful modern house which was massive. I was always used to seeing small run-down houses in our town, so seeing this was quite a shock for me. "Well, this is my house," he said, smiling at me as I looked at his house in awe. "It's nothing special." "I've never seen anything like this before. I'm quite scared to go inside. I don't want to damage anything," I said, waiting behind him as he unlocked the door. The inside was as beautiful as the outside. It was spotless. Everything was perfect. At this point, I honestly wished I was him. He gave me a tour of the house, and after, we sat on the couch and watched some random Netflix series of people cooking. At some point, he paused the show. "Hey, I need to do something. I'll be right back, okay?" he said with a sense of urgency. He was smiling at me, but I could tell something was wrong. Before I could reply, he dashed up the stairs, and after that, I didn't hear anything. I was expecting to hear the slam of a door or something, but I didn't. I was left sitting on his couch, confused, with a bunch of different questions whizzing around in my head. I sat there, waiting for him to come back. I waited, and waited. I checked the time. It had been around an hour. I was getting concerned now, so I decided to go and look for him. I wish I didn't. When I finished walking up the lengthy staircase, my head began to hurt. There were so many different doors, so how would I know which one he was in? I didn't remember seeing this many rooms from the time he gave me the tour of the house, so I decided to open each one. A majority of them were bedrooms, but one was just an empty white room. When I entered the room, the door behind me shut by itself. My heart skipped a beat. Maybe it was the wind? I decided to ignore it, and I realized there was another door in front of me. I opened it. The door behind me shut by itself. At this point, I didn't think it was a coincidence. Once again, there was a door. I opened it, and this time I was met with a dimly lit room with no windows. The door behind me didn't shut this time. This room was extremely cold. It felt like I was in a freezer. There was a door in front of me, but this time it was slightly open. I decided to peek into the room. I saw a grotesque thing with rotting flesh. It looked like a human being but with no skin, just muscle. But it was shaped weirdly, very weirdly. It was washing the skin of a human. There were no bones, no muscles, just skin and hair. It was the same color as my best friend's hair. It was making gnarly noises while violently scrubbing the skin with a weird type of cloth. I saw different products set aside on the sink, glue, an unusual purple substance, which is what I'm guessing was used to wash the skin, and a weirdly glowing thing in a spray bottle. At that moment, I was completely frozen. My heart was hammering out of my chest, my head was spinning, and my hands were trembling as I looked at the sight, my eyes wide open in fear. When I finally regained some type of movement, I ran. I ran as fast as I possibly could. When I got out of all those rooms, I almost tripped running down the stairs. I sat down on the couch, breathing hard, and my hands still trembling. I think he heard me, because a few minutes later, he came downstairs. I don't even know how he looked so normal. I couldn't even look him in the eyes. "Hey, are you okay?" he said, looking concerned. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Yeah, my dad's having an emergency," I lied. "I really need to go now, I'm sorry." I don't know what he said because I quickly left his house and started walking to my house. My house was far away, so I don't even know why I was walking. I guess I just wanted to clear my head. When I got home, I went straight to the bathroom. I sat there, bawling my eyes out and throwing up in the toilet occasionally. I haven't been to school since. I don't think I can face him again. I knew there was something off about him. I just don't get it. Was the room cold to preserve the skin? Wouldn't the skin be rotting by now? What actually is he? I don't think he's even from Earth. I just want answers.